when we talked to Lewis and he was like, hey, it's 9 principal foundational things. Mind blown, right? So from 200 things, it's just 9. Like, students can grab 9, especially if I have 3 or 4 months, because I'm looking for something that has a bigger effect on the students who will later become officers out on the street. I need them to grasp more than what they were grasping. This is even in the first day when he threw out all the basically conceptual, 9 pieces. It was very easy for us to grasp. Well, if I can do that with good dudes in one day, the chance of that being grasped and conceptualized by a bunch of students in 3-4 months at the academy, to me, that's a huge change. That's a big difference. I would like it to go state. And the reason is, I think if it was state and mandated, one, you and I show up to the same thing on a border. So I show up on a scene at 48th Street and baseline call it, right? Tempe's needing help, I'm needing help, we're fighting with a guy right there. Our tactics are the same. That's huge. I would prefer that over each city having an individualized program where I don't speak the same language as you when I show up on a scene with you from a different agency. I would like that statewide thing to be something simple like what ISR PJJ provides, and so that everyone has more reps in the same direction and everyone is able to communicate when you show up to arrest somebody. Street, everyone has the same language, everyone has the same understanding, the same training.
So we had seen a little preview from Lewis. As a group, we came down to kind of see what else is out there to help us with our DT program. So we didn't know, like, what we had seen prior was maybe some of like stuff that we've already we're teaching. Didn't know how all of that was going to fit in with what we currently do. Been really impressed with how streamlined it actually is. It's just repeating similar concepts over and over and over again, and how easily they can branch out to maybe other aspects of what you're encountering. But you're just coming back to the same principles of this is what the core 3 things that we need to know and how to get it done. I'd like this to be, it would be really helpful for it to be like the standard in Arizona, at least. I think it would allow the untrained, maybe recruit, or the officer who doesn't train currently on the street, simplify difficult situations. They're going to pick this up real fast. Like, there's not going to be any issues because they are already trained. It's for the officers maybe who don't train as much, or they don't feel like they have time. It also simplify a lot of the staffing issues that we have currently on the street with a more streamlined approach. Similar concepts that are being hit over and over and over again will help just the general population of officers and recruits who maybe haven't had any previous training in other skill sets.
It brings a lot more than just jiu-jitsu. It brings all kind of the grappling together in order to really control somebody, put them on their stomach, keep them there, right? And then start working the arms towards the back and find some kind of chokehold, or keep you on your back and find some kind of joint lock, right? So with the PJJ, it's the opposite. It's like you're controlling somebody and you're using it as a team sport as well, right? So you have your partners and now you can work your partners, whereas jiu-jitsu is a single man sport, right? You're using your partners now, and now you're working that whole entire problem with a group of 2 or 3. So that's really the one big thing I saw between jiu-jitsu and what you guys are working here.
The program overall seemed very easy to kind of pick up the tactics, easy to learn. You can get into the exercises and just do the drills, and then you quickly pick up on what's effective, and it's simple. The other thing that I found beneficial was I think we can teach this to the rest of the department, and I think we can get some buy-in because it's effective. So I think it's going to build some confidence just across the department as far as control, closing the distance when you have to go hands-on with the subject you're going to arrest. I think it'll improve our confidence with that. And then not only that, just maintaining control, gaining control, and then if they have a counter or they attack us, having an answer that they could feel confident will work and be effective.
I'm an emergency physician. I am a sworn reserve police officer. I've been attached to a SWAT team for about a decade as the SWAT physician. Was very taken by how quickly the proficiency was attained with ISR when compared to any other skill set that I've been introduced through, both in the medical field and with law enforcement. As a physician, that caused me to say to myself, well, why? Why is this system so capable of creating proficiency as quickly as it does? And it became very evident that the system is a unique blend of biomechanics and teaching strategies that have been merged together to achieve these goals very quickly. It was amazing to see how we can utilize that core system that is so attainable so quickly, but then how broadly it can be applied and how it can be used as in an adaptable way for the chaos that reality brings. My hope is that the beauty of this system, the applicability, the reliability, the repeatability, and the achievability of proficiency will be recognized broadly. I think more than ever, law enforcement is under the magnifying glass, and I think in protecting our officers with a safe and effective means of apprehension, we will be able to provide better law enforcement and keep the law enforcement officers and the public safer. And I think that's what's necessary, both for the wellness of law enforcement as a profession and for the citizens as well. I think if we can achieve that, then the trust that has probably been lost over the recent years can be regained.
ISR Matrix is specifically designed for police work. It's drillable, it's practical, it's easy to learn, and it makes sense.
What changed when ISR Matrix came to Mesa? You already started to get into it.
Yeah. Probably just, it's not Jiu-Jitsu, that's the label, but it is a system designed for law enforcement, apprehension and control based, to control people, get them under control so we can put them in handcuffs without injuries to officers and suspects. Global. We're going to start in Arizona. Hopefully it spreads across the United States. I don't foresee it failing. I just don't. I think it's going to be as important, like an invention for law enforcement. It hasn't been discovered yet, and I think we're on the brink of that.
Ground floor?
Ground floor, baby. You don't have to be a fighter to be a cop. You do have to have a skill set, and ISR gives officers that skill set, especially in team tactics. You learn the individual skills, but it applies to group tactics. And that's what Lewis was just saying next door when we were training. It's like, hey, Jiu-Jitsu is a team sport. That's what it was designed for, and that's what we're going for. So he's taking the ideologies of Jiu-Jitsu and applying it, making it law enforcement specific, which is brilliant.
For effecting arrest and being able to safely put people into custody. It wasn't enough.
Okay. So now ISR Matrix comes into Mesa. What has changed?
Everything. Everything's changed. Now we have a comprehensive system that is simple, repeatable, and can be trained to the masses so everyone gets a baseline understanding of what is expected, what pieces of our suspect's body needs to be attached to, and how we deal with them, especially as a team. The people that we have here in this unit and that are supporting the unit, I see this not going away anytime soon, and I just see it getting bigger, going to other agencies through the state, and this being the standard.
So I'm currently in the process of rewriting our whole control tactics program, and I'm pushing to bring in the stuff we did this week, specifically everything we did here that Mesa PD is doing and PJJ in general into my agency, and that being our core base of our program. Everything from how you're running things here with your the cadets from DTS PT and introducing it early without skill sets, and then introducing it with a skill set, and just all the tactics in general for base. In the program, now that it's being at Lewis's new position here, and seeing how integrating what he had with the law enforcement agency as being a part of it, not just training it from the outside. What was implemented and the buy-in from the instructors that are already here and already part of the cadre, because they're on the street doing things every day, and the team tactics stuff even on the ground, and just the overall control of everything was very simple, and no matter what the size difference was, and just the communication was very simple and clean, and I mean it's everything about it. It's simple, and how no matter what position you're in or a technique, whether it's gun, knife, on the ground, standing, those 9 techniques come into play over and over again, and to works as autonomous. It's super, just do it.
Is so nice because it's so simple. You can teach in very little time some concepts that get people working, and I teach the academy level. So the academy level, just seeing how fast we can get recruits to get through the ABCs, the basics, and understanding just what's important to move around on the body, how to move it. And it's so basic that they can get a lot of reps and get really good at it, instead of having so many techniques that, when we were teaching the other system, we had so many techniques, I would see the recruits failing because they couldn't think of the next technique that they were supposed to go to, and they would overload and freeze and then just revert to scrambling whatever they did before. Seeing them transition between just a few techniques back and forth in solving a lot of the problems that we put them in, it's just really cool to see how fast and how quick they could advance with this and really do much better than they were doing before, not getting stuck as often with getting in a position where they didn't know what to do. It was, hey, here's a couple techniques, that's not working, go to the next one, and they're sorting out the problems really fast. I'm hoping that it takes off. Our recent in-service training, where we were introducing a lot of in-service guys to it, seeing the reluctancy to be part of it because of our history of other stuff that they didn't really have a good time with. They got a really bad flavor in their mouth about it. Having them come in and do it, and then just getting the feedback saying, hey, well, this actually made sense. This is pretty good stuff. I can see it. What I'd love to see is this just becoming the standard, because I think it's, I've never seen recruits leave from the academy and be so wanting more. Our prior defensive tactics program, we gave them what we got, they left, and there wasn't really that desire for them to, hey, I need to train more of what we got. It was just, now go on and learn some other stuff in your field training. When they're leaving now, they're asking us, hey, how can I continue? What things are out there for me to continue this training and continue developing my skill? I really hope the state, because I think we do work with other agencies occasionally, and we're all on the same page. Things would go so smooth. I think it'd be really a good thing.
The simplicity of the tactics has changed. We've seen officers who'd never trained before grasp onto it because it is so simple. It's 9 basic concepts, and once they understand those 9 basic concepts and rep those over and over again, now they have a basic skill set that they can fall back on. And even the people that have jiu-jitsu skills or wrestling skills or Muay Thai skills or whatever type of system they work, they can jump in with those officers that don't have that skill set and be successful. And I've also seen that the ISR Matrix is apprehension-based more than a sport. It is directly designed for law enforcement to be able to deal with combative subjects and compliant subjects and get them controlled and detained in a safe way that's safe for both the officer and for the suspect and the community in general. As we've started to roll this out for the whole department, is almost a culture shift where officers that were afraid to come in and do the police jiu-jitsu and get beat up over and over again are now understanding with these same 9 basic principles, they can come in and train and work at their own pace, still develop that skill set, but then train at their own pace so they're not getting hurt or getting less officers injured in training. And it's making people want to train more, and it's almost changing the culture within our department of wanting to train, want to get better, and we're seeing it over and over again as it's being applied case after case. Through Axon, we're seeing videos of it working over and over and over again. And hopefully, as we've branched out and started talking to other agencies, making it the way we do things in Arizona and hopefully nationwide, because it is so simple. And officers within other agencies, if they know those basic 9 concepts, they can bring, if they show up to a call with a neighboring agency, they can jump in and know where to fall in line and how to apprehend the suspect together instead of everybody pushing and pulling and doing different things. And I see it continuing to grow and change the culture, not only within Mesa, but nationwide as we continue to grow this type of apprehension system.
So ISR Matrix basically takes all that extra stuff that you shouldn't be using from both boxing and jiu-jitsu and MMA altogether, and just directs it into apprehension. It's laser focused into apprehension, and it's taken all the extra stuff out of the equation. That's why in my opinion, it's the best system that I've come across in my career.
Since coming to ISR, a lot of those techniques are trained into the system. So it's part of the drills. You work through transitions. Something doesn't work, you go back to those fundamental skill sets and you work straight into the next thing. So that's been the big difference from what we used to teach compared to now. Yeah, so the big change is it's easier to learn, it's more uniform, it's easier to understand, it's easier to process in the heat of the moment. You have several options instead of 1,000 or creating your own. So that's been it's a simple platform to use. The goal is that we increase it throughout Mesa PD, then we increase it throughout the state of Arizona, and I could foresee it going across the nation and then potentially globally if it picks up steam. I think we're in a sweet time right now with politics, and we're post-George Floyd era, use of force, and I think the question mark is how do we do this job, do it well, while still keeping officers safe. And I think we present a lot of good opportunities and a lot of solutions to the problems that we're facing. The public expects more of us, and I think we have good answers and good solutions to their expectations.
So fast forward to the ISR, it was simplified big time, at least for someone like me without the grappling experience, having 9 basic techniques and whittling it down to, all right, you got some intercepts, you got some stabilizers, and you got a couple things to resolve it. It really simplified the process and was a lot easier to learn. Talking to guys that I've been on different committees with over there that have been looking for something like this, they're like, yeah, to them, it seems like they're very interested in this, and the other agencies that I talk to over there, very interested. So I could see this getting worked into, the ultimate goal of hopefully something along this lines becoming like the standard for policing in Arizona for the defensive tactics type program.